All right, so we need about 30 beers.
Yeah!
Let's get the beers.
Wait, this is token tank, not drunken tank.
So where are we? Are we here?
We're here, I think.
We're here? All right.
We're here.
We're right here. Any listeners to Bad Crypto in the house?
No, two of you. Very good. You all tuned in to listen to Ronnie Moas on those shows we had, right?
That's right. This is going to be great fun. We had a bunch of applicants come in to participate in the token tank, and I believe we've got 6 companies that were chosen to compete for some massive prizes. And we're going to detail what some of those prizes are in just a moment when we introduce you to our judges. What do you got there, Mr. Travis?
Well, we have a list of all of the amazing people that will be coming up.
Yeah.
All the different companies.
Okay, so let's talk about how it's going to work. We are going to invite up one spokesperson from each of the 6 companies. They are going to have a total of 12 minutes. How many minutes?
12 minutes.
No, they're listening.
This is the smartest audience I've ever been in front of.
Today.
Yeah.
They're going to have 12 minutes, 7 minutes in which we are going to ask probing and delicate questions in sensitive places.
It sounds awkward.
Yeah, it's going to be a little awkward. Just a little bit. On our podcast, we do something called the Crypto Spotlight, and we ask them about the 8 T's of tokenology. And what are those 8 T's, Travis?
Nice, he wants me to remember them.
Yeah, come on, we've only done 150
That's
of
true.
these.
So we want to know about the tech, we want to know about the timeline, we want to know about your team, we want to know if you have some traction, we want to know about your tribe or your community, we want to know about some other
technology.
Things. I said that. We want to know if you have, no, that's not one of the questions, he just tricked me. Tricked me.
So,
that is a good T though.
Now,
Travis is a T.
Yeah, we're going to ask.
What's your tokenomics? That's another one.
Yeah. But you're not going to have as much time. There's another T as you would on an episode. You're going to have 7 minutes as a contestant to answer questions and to share your story. Then the judges will take 5 minutes to ask whatever questions they want to get clarification, to put you on the spot, to ask you why isn't this a shitcoin, right? And then your time will be up.
That's what this should be called. Is this a shitcoin? And just like yes or no.
I think actually that's on the judging sheet. They have to judge yes or no. Where are the judging sheets? Okay.
Judging sheets are here.
Right. They don't have the 4 things on them. Okay, so they're going to judge.
They actually have them. I think they handed it to them back there.
Oh, the judges have them?
Yeah,
Can I
so
see
they got
one,
papers back there.
so we can tell them. Yeah, let me see one of those, please. Thank you, Vanna White. That was supposed to be funny. You guys can laugh at my bad dad jokes, please. Okay, the scoring topics, which they will score from 1 to 5, with 1 being the lowest, is problem solving. How well does your token solve a real world problem?
Yep, and then how big is your addressable audience? Like, do you have enough customers potentially? I have a weird echo. I seem really loud, louder than normal.
You're good.
Am I good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to move my mic up here because you guys need to hear me better.
Yeah, the dulcet tones of his voice is
Let's try that.
very important.
Then the chance of profitability. What are the odds that this token will make money? And finally,
Like, does it have that X factor? Does it wow you? Does it seem like it could actually do something? Right? So they're going to be judging on that, and they're going to be putting 5 points for yes, top 1 point for and then we're going to add them all up, and it'll be a winner, and the winner will get prizes, and you guys might get some beers.
yeah, we're still hoping for the beers. Adam, are you working on the beers? He's working on it. Excellent. Okay, so with no further ado, let's bring up our 5 judges. First of all, we have the founder of Blockchain Capital. He helped establish the EOS VC program and has made over 100 investments in companies in the space. Mr. Brock Pierce, give it
Give it up
up.
for Brock. Excellent.
Welcome. Take a seat, my friend.
All right, next up, we have the one and only, he's the only Moas that I know. And he is the CEO of Standpoint Research, and I guarantee you he gets Moas than every one of you in this room, besides Brock. Welcome, Ronnie Moas.
You're right.
Wow, save some S for other people, Ronnie.
Guys didn't know what you were getting into. Yeah, Ronnie wants to start a new podcast called the Mo Cast.
Watch out, they're breaking everything, Ronnie.
Don't trip on things, Ronnie.
There we go.
We need you to judge. Okay, next up we have the founder of Token Agency, BD-backed private placement agency, and programmatic advertising crypto audience bank, Mr. Rob Benke.
Thank you. Let's get ready to rumble. All right.
Grab a seat. There you go.
All right, stop on that. That's a good thing.
And every judge has to trip on this up here, please.
Very
It's
good.
like,
Good job, Brock. Brock has got extra points for that.
So I tend to see it.
could you hand me those things low to the ground, please?
Very good. All right, next up, we'd like to introduce the co-founder of Crypto Domo. It's a white glove service that onboards and advises accredited investors into the digital economy. Sari Osmina. Give her a big round of applause.
All right.
Can we say, hey Siri, and then ask her a question? Welcome.
Welcome. All right, and finally, the co-founder and CEO of DX.Exchange, using NASDAQ's matching engine, DS Exchange, introduces a unique crypto trading experience with no trading fees. Daniel Skowronski, did I say it right? Daniel, go ahead and grab a microphone because I believe your prize is the grand prize. Is that correct? Let's get Daniel on here, please. There we go. Tell Pete, tell him what the grand prize is.
Well, it's the winner is going to get a free listing on our exchange. As you know, everybody charges for listings on the exchange, but I can tell you our prize is actually quite low when we list projects. But we're really looking for really good projects. Maybe I'm going to list all of them that are up here. We'll see. But at least definitely the winner today will get to be listed on our exchange. As I said, we partnered with NASDAQ in the United States here. So we're looking for really, really good quality projects. We have really good, strong partners. And so we're just looking for good ICOs. And this, I think, is a great forum to be able to do it. So good luck to the contestants that are out here.
Excellent. All right.
Welcome, guys. Live right now at Token Tank. Just getting started. The judges are getting up on the stage. What's up? Right now. So
I'm going to solve this
yeah,
microphone, damn it, if it
this
kills
is going to
me.
be great. There's quite a lot of people in the
All
room
of
right
you
now.
willing to sacrifice this whole
Anyway,
audience.
let's keep listening.
The other prize for the top three, each of the top three winners are going to get a slot on the Crypto Spotlight episode of the Bad Crypto Podcast, which in our first year we've had over 5 million downloads, and so there's definitely some great exposure for you there as well.
Yeah, I think also one of the prizes, I don't think this was actually announced because I'm making it up right now. You're going to get an hour with Brock Pierce. He's totally volunteering that right now.
There you go.
Maybe 30 minutes.
In the sauna. That's it. All right. Everybody understands the rules.
You're funny, Mr. Joe Cobb.
You're funny looking, Mr. Travis
you,
Wright.
Thank you.
Let's do this thing. Mr. Travis Wright has actually done 300 stand-up comedy routines.
Very poorly.
All very poorly. I'm more of a sit-down comic.
That's what happens
That's
when
true.
you're
In
a
this case, the
superstar,
sit-down and
mate.
shut up comic. So
We're hoping you would do that
we'll
next
start here. Our first company, represented by presenter Max Galka, the CEO of Elementus. It's elementus.io. We need a clock so we can time. Do we have that?
Should I just do
Or
pull
do we
my
need
clock?
should we just time it ourselves out?
Yeah, heaps.
By the way, while Mr. Travis Wright is pulling out his clock, can we get a round of applause for Adam and the whole World Crypto Conference?
Yes. Amazing. What accomplishment. The very first time put this thing together, this is top notch. Good stuff.
The buzz that's going to be going out there for this event, make sure you guys are tweeting at World CryptoCon, using hashtags and letting the rest of the world know that they are missing the most epic crypto conference that's ever happened.
And the buzz
in
that's
Vegas.
happening with the judges, because this is Token Tank, so they all smoke marijuana back there.
That may be true. Okay, do you have your stopwatch?
I do not have my stopwatch, but I will start it.
Okay, so where is Max?
Wave.
Max Galka, give
Give
it
it
up
up
for Max
for Max
Galka.
Galka. All right, Max, you're addressing the judges and the audience, and we're just kind of be lurking, making faces behind you. You have 7 minutes to wow us in the questions we're going to ask you. I think we're going to stand.
Okay,
I like standing. I need exercise.
We're going to stand and make you feel awkward. We're going to be like, we're going to bully you. Answer this question.
Come on, Max. Okay, so start. You ready to go? Here we go. In 3, 2. Action. All right, so Max, go ahead and give us the elevator speech. What is Elementis?
Sure. So, well, I'll start by giving an introduction to myself and my team, and then talk a little bit about what it is we're doing, the problem that we're solving. So, yeah, my name is Max Galka.
What's up, everyone?
I was most recently, I taught data science at the University of Pennsylvania. Before that, I worked for 10 years on Wall Street trading derivatives, both at Credit Suisse and Deutsche Bank. And I started working on Elementis about a year ago. The rest of the team, I'm working with 4 extremely talented individuals, all with very diverse backgrounds located across 3 continents. I feel very fortunate to be working with each and every one of them. And to start, I'd like to ask the audience a question. So there is a graphic that's made the rounds on social media, you may have seen it. It shows the proliferation of the ICO market as a bunch of colorful bubbles appearing over time. So I'd like to know, with a show of hands, how many of you have seen this graphic that I'm describing? Okay, seems like a good number of you. So I made this graphic, and I'd like to give you a little bit of background behind why I made it. So what I found, as I imagine many of you have, is that reliable information on not just ICOs, but really anything in the cryptocurrency markets is very difficult to find online. So different sources of information don't necessarily agree with each other. It's not clear
Smash the like button, guys.
From, who is reliable, who's not. And when you think about it, this is really a very strange problem because everything exists in this one transparent database called a blockchain. So it should seem like all the information should be very easy to get. So why is it that none of this information is really reliable? Why is it so hard to find good, reliable information?
Totally agree with you, Batman.
I set out to answer one very simple question, which is how much money has been raised through ICOs. And what I found is that the number is actually much larger than what was being reported. And in this process, and this ended up becoming this bubble graphic that I shared around and went sort of more viral than I expected it to. But it really, what hit home for me was that there is a big, deep, fundamental problem with the blockchain space, and that is the lack of good information. That the blockchain is, in theory, it's transparent, but because of the way it's structured, it is very difficult to read.
Very good. That's like a 3-minute elevator pitch. Very nice.
Yeah.
So you make infographics.
Well, I do, but it's the data is
the data. Okay, good deal. So let's talk about the technology then. What is Elementis built on? Tell us a little bit about the tech. And you got about 4 minutes left.
Sure. So the tech. So we essentially apply 2 different transformations to the blockchain data. So we start with all these different blockchains that all have their own data format. They're all different. They're not consistent with each other. We take those and we put them into one standardized format that's very simple and easy to work with. So that's the first piece. The second piece, which is a bit more challenging, is identifying who is behind each of these accounts. So we're not looking at things like individuals, we're looking at more the public entities. So that could be token projects. So which accounts are controlled by a token project? Where is the money stored after they raise their ICO? Where is the token? It is exchanges. You may be surprised to learn there are over 10 million addresses on the Ethereum blockchain that are controlled by exchanges, mining pools. So we go in and we apply those 2 pieces of information, and we make that information available via an API, via a data feed. And that people can use to build many different kinds of applications.
Okay, so Max, where are you at with the technology? You're raising the money and then going to develop this, or are you pretty far along and ready to bring this to market?
Yep, so we raised $800K at the start of the year. The technology is built out all the way up until the point of reaching the customer. So the data feed is there, and we are now building the first application on top of that data feed.
Are you going to deliver it via mobile or desktop apps?
No, it's going to be a web app.
Very nice.
It's a web app.
What about your team? Tell us a little bit about the team. What makes Elementis exceptional?
Boy, we have, as I said, we have an extremely talented team. My teammate Mike is a Caltech rocket scientist. So I like to tell people we have a rocket scientist, a little rocket scientist on the team. My teammate Nuria is a rock star marketer based in Barcelona, so she's outstanding. Maxime is a really talented full stack developer for the Pillar project. And Raul, he worked at Groupon and Ubiome and is also a very talented full stack developer that is into artificial intelligence. And I myself am a full stack developer as well.
Everybody needs a Raul, right? Yeah.
Raul?
Yes.
Raul.
So what token are you creating and how's it going to work in your environment?
Well, so different from most token projects.
By the way, I see you slowly backing away. Come on, step up. It's okay. They don't bite.
I appreciate this. This is my time to read.
You're doing great.
I paused it.
No, this is our
I didn't
time.
actually pause it. I lied when I said I paused it.
Yeah, token. So we are a revenue generating business. So we are doing a security token, but an equity token, so that it's basically like a tokenized version of equity. So we do not have a token economic model. We are more of a typical business generating revenue producing products.
Very nice. Already producing revenue.
Very soon. Our goal is by the end of November to have our first paying client.
Very nice. And isn't Elementus, wasn't it like a spell on Harry Potter? I don't know.
Elementus infographic.
Make viral infographic. Great.
You've got a few seconds left.
Yeah. What would you like anybody else to know about your project?
Well, I would say that most of the big problems that are in this space, I would argue, are information problems. Regulation, that problem really comes down to the regulators not having enough information to distinguish the good projects from bad projects. The scams and hacks, that comes down to being able to track them through the blockchain. And the speculative nature and hype-driven nature of the tokens, that also comes down to information, not having enough information to assess the fundamental value.
Very good. All right, give it up for Max.
Yeah, get on. Next.
That was the grilling. So this is the fun part.
This guy's gonna get
Panelists,
crushed.
judges, make your questions brief and make your answers as brief as possible because we have 5 minutes and that way if everybody gets a chance to say something we can go through. Go for it. 5 minutes. Go.
I agree.
Yeah.
Testing, here we go. Well, first of all, I've used your incredible infographic in many of my speeches, which is where I think many people have seen it. So first of all, incredible work. Yeah, if you're looking for revenue, I would happily be a first customer to commission something else along the lines we've discussed. But I'd be curious to see kind of long-term grand vision. Where do you see this 5 years from now, 10 years from now? If someone is trying to think about what they're investing in and the future potential of it, what's the big end game?
Sure. So I would explain this with an analogy, and that is that every complex network inevitably needs some sort of map to make it work. So that's true of the New York City subway, where I live. It would be very hard to take the subway if you didn't have a map to tell you where to go. So that's a literal map, but a metaphorical map would be, for instance, the telephone system. It would be very hard to use the telephone system if you didn't have a phone book back in the day. Another example would be Google. The internet is totally transparent, but it would be quite hard to use if you didn't have a search engine like Google to help you find your way around. So now you have this new network of blockchains, and it's very new. And just as Google looks very different from the phone book, the map for this new network is going to look very different from Google. And we believe that Elementus will be that map to the world of blockchains.
Speak about who your competitors are and how you plan on capturing market share from them.
Sure. So I would say it like this, that I mentioned briefly that data we believe to be the core problem underlying a number of different issues that at the surface seem unrelated. So all the hacks and scams and thefts that are happening, information for investors to make smart decisions, the tools that the regulators need to be able to regulate the market properly. So there are teams that are addressing each of those different issues. but we are taking much more of like a root cause approach. So some of the teams that are doing those is Chainalysis is one that's on the side of the regulators, on the side of, let's say, the investors.
You guys are just too much.
One of the projects out there. And on the side of
getting the right map to get off the stage.
See some of the scams, hacks, thefts. I haven't seen a good competitor in that area, but I would say that we are playing in sort of a different dimension from the other people that are trying to solve these individual problems.
So I was going to ask, if you're about to start generating revenue, who are your customers? Who will be the customers?
All right, I'll do that.
So, I started off, I worked 10 years at investment banks. Originally, I thought that investment banks were really not going to do anything in this market, would have no need for a solution in this market for quite a while, because they're still very far from being comfortable enough to actually be transacted. However, I found that it's quite the opposite, that not only do investment banks need a solution in the space, but each investment bank has many different groups internally that all need solutions. And that solution is for due diligence and AML KYC uses. So before the prime services group in an investment bank can take on a new hedge fund, if that hedge fund is operating in cryptocurrency, they need to be able to make sure that they're not up to anything shady or not dealing with any bad actors. And right now they're not.
So, a couple minutes left.
Okay.
About a minute and a half.
Next question.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'd like to finish this one. So investment banks,
Still going
they have many different groups internally that all need this compliance solution. So that is our first customer, is investment banks and other large financial institutions.
What part of your technology is proprietary?
It is the data science methods for identifying the different entities behind the accounts. So the way it works at a very high level is first you find a way of identifying one account that belongs to an entity, and from there you use different techniques to extrapolate out what other accounts belong to that same entity. So far we've identified within the Ethereum blockchain about half of the accounts, and most of that is with our various algorithms that are used to, as I described.
Okay. I think everybody asked really good questions. I actually thought Brock was going to be your first customer, not the investment banks. But look, one quick question is, you said it's a security token. A lot of people are talking about security tokens these days. Can you tell me why you decided to go down a security token route versus utility?
Yeah, well, I think the utility token route, at this point, I'm a very big believer in utility tokens. But it introduces a lot of uncertainties that are really not necessary for all businesses. So in some cases, for a distributed app, a utility token may be necessary. In our case, it's not. And I don't see any reason to try to shoehorn a token into our business, given all the uncertainties.
Give it up for Max with Elementus.
Get off. Get off.
Perfect, thank you. All right.
Who burns the beer?
It's not all of them.
It's like greedy dude, he's gonna take all the beers.
Oh man, you guys are so funny. I'm back from laughing. Do I get a beer?
Turn on Ronnie's mic, please.
Can I have a beer?
You can have a beer, Mr. Ronnie West?
I'll have one.
He not drink beer. He only drinks aged
I got Coronas up on the stage. She can me one. You're doing a great job here.
Brock, are you copying?
Yeah.
You gotta get up and get it from your protein. There you go.
Cheers.
All right, you got a couple other ones over here.
So while
Who wants a beer?
Uh-oh.
Cheers.
We have
Cheers.
a incident. All right, judges.
I just got a free Corona, man.
It was our idea, actually.
Oh, yes, there we go.
So, please score on a
hell
scale
yeah.
of 1 to 5, problem solving.
Go get it, Wales.
So he's looking at he was like, I can't get the beer.
Chance of probability. And the X factor. This is a lot like doing the
token
show
tank.
with him, by the way. We just step all over each other. This is why we call ourselves the blockchain blockheads.
That's true.
The crypto clowns. Okay, you guys loosening up now, getting in the groove here. Good questions, some great ones, some good ones. Step it up, Mr. Ryan Moyes. Ronnie has been our most frequent guest, appearing on the show, what, 7 times now? He thinks 6, but we're doing Bad Crypto Live tomorrow. We're actually closing out the event in the Mariposa room, and Ronnie will have his 7th appearance, and Brock's going to be on as well, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, we've had an amazing interview. Actually, we've never interviewed Brock Pierce ever.
No.
Get on their show, Brock! What the hell?
Yeah, Brock. We're going to make a series on it.
Buy some ARB!
It's on. Okay, let's bring up our next contestant on Token Tank. He is the CEO of Arbitron.
His favorite.
Yeah. I will advise the judges to not be influenced by the stat.
We gave most of them beer.
All right, grab that mic right there, David. Don't drop it. Come on, step up here up front so all people can see you.
Don't worry, he's gonna drop
and give us the elevator speech. All right.
Wait, let me start the clock. Let me start the clock here.
Do the countdown so the alarm goes off.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm going to show
You're so bossy.
Show him how to use a phone.
All right, 7 minutes
and 0.
And 0. Thank you, Mr. Joe Conner. So smart.
When this alarm goes off,
go. Yes.
Go.
All right, first off, I just want to let you guys know, we are a tech, but we're not actually a tech.
Hold up to your mic. Hold up to your mic.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So we are a technology, but we're really not here to be a technology. We're here for people. We're here to blend people and technology. We're bot builders. And what we are actually doing is building bots for people to make money in cryptocurrency. And we're actually, working with different companies to bring bots to, crypto in many different ways. And at the end of the day, we're technically a movement. We're actually, I'm overwhelmed, but sorry.
We're with you, Dave. They're with you.
Yeah.
Friendly audience.
Yeah.
You can only win.
We love you, Dave.
I know. Quick, we're arbitraging.
How's it work? Tell us what you're doing. Be more specific.
Gotcha. So we actually launched a platform 6 months ago. We came out of ICO. We built a arbitraging bot was our first, work into the market. We actually have a user-based bot where you guys can use your own exchanges and trade from exchange to make money arbitraging, tokens and coins. And you use your own platforms, your own APIs, and we're trying to make everybody have. Sorry, my mouth is really dry.
You need a beer?
Water? Yes, do it.
Sorry, we're
Fresh water. I'm gonna pretend like I'm
drinking a massage. Here we go.
That's perfect.
Again, I lied. I did not pause it.
But yeah, so basically we launched, I think, one of the easiest to use arbitrage bots in the world. And it's currently being used by over 1,000 people. It officially launched 9 days ago. And we did that all within 6 months. And our entire platform is built from scratch. We built our own exchange code in 12 days, actually. And we're currently working on white labeling that with other upcoming projects. And our bots are actually proprietary. We do have patent pending on the algorithms that we use to actually create a baseline to value the spread opportunities. So, but at the end of the day, we're actually here to try to empower people and, bring them confidence and the ability to complete, transactions and arbitrage trades to make money for themselves. Because at the end of the day, everybody's here to make money. And we charge a little fee in that process, and we have a token, the ARB coin, our ARB token, and it's actually a gas for the bots. So we wanted to build a utility feature, and that's where we are.
Good stuff, David. I got a question around these bots. So these arbitraging bots are connected to various different exchanges and finding different opportunities to leverage. Now, what happens is in the stock market, all the exchanges have the exact same price of every single, security. What happens if, we get regulation in crypto and then all the exchanges have to have the same price? Is arbitraging still going to be an effective tool?
Well, technically, that's a very good question. But at the end of the day, since fiat actually backs cryptocurrency, the different fiat values as they trade, like with the Forex market, that's always going to create spreads. And you'll be able to actually, trade on those spreads and create liquidity, value from that. But at the end of the day, we're actually trying to build liquidity in the market, and we're here to help exchanges and people. We're trying to bond the two.
So what if like everyone uses arbitraging? Like, is that going to be a problem because everybody's using the same tool, or you get mass adoption of this?
No, at the end of the day, what you're actually going to do is create pull shifts on your own. So if you actually, arbitrage it really heavily into, like, let's say billions of volume, you're actually going to create your own pull shifts. So
pull shifts?
Yeah, a pull shift is when the the money flow goes from one exchange, and now you got too much on one, it needs to come back to the other. So more people will actually create more opportunity in our eyes.
You too can have your own pull shift. So what I want to know is the bottom line, the success, right? Yeah. Sign up for the service. Are people making money? What are they?
They are making money.
Yeah.
In the first 9 days of our bot going live, we have over 1,000 users using it. And they're averaging between 1% and 5% per trade.
So Lord, these people look really happy. They're all like, oh! Yeah, big connect guy on there. Good stuff. So tell us a little more. So how far along is the technology? It seems like it's working. You got some happy people.
The technology it's fully launched. It's at the base model, and we're gonna, over the next couple of months, keep building onto that. Right now, we have the ability to arbitrage on centralized exchanges from exchange to exchange. And at the end of the day, we're working in the next 3 months, you're gonna start to see internal arbitraging. So you'll be able to use one exchange and actually triangular arbitrage on one exchange, or triangular arbitrage on 3 exchanges. And we're actually working with a partnership to actually bring arbitraging to decentralized exchanges.
So every sign up.
Yes!
So like you're doing arbitraging within different exchanges, there's so many of them. Do you have to have an account on each individual exchange?
You will, and that actually gives you guys the ability to control your own destiny. So it's all your own exchanges, your own money. You actually get paid out in whatever you want. Because at the end of the day, you're going to end up in either the fiat or the cryptocurrency that you choose.
All right, let's give it up for David Peterson.
Yeah!
ARB! 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 ARB!
Crowded moment. That's what's gonna happen. All right, 5 minutes. Actually, we're good for 5.
We're good for 5 minutes.
Questions?
So David, what jurisdiction is your entity based out of that you did the ICO?
Right now, we're actually based out of the British Virgin Islands. We were in Singapore. We just moved over to BVI.
Okay. So you're here at Token Tank Live. You said that you did an ICO. Are you doing an additional token sale? What are you?
No, we're not doing additional token sale. We're doing everything we can to actually try to take over the market.
Yes. Are you seeking investors, or are you seeking community right now?
Community.
Okay.
Yeah. At the end of the day, they're both the same. Yeah.
Great.
Holy shit.
Are all of the spreads that you're identifying being generated automatically, or are your users able to call arbitrage opportunities to your attention?
They're made automatically. We created our own valuing system, so they actually come from the exchanges and the order books on those exchanges. Our bot will actually read into the order book, so you can actually set a trade value per trade, and it'll actually read into the order book in depth that trade, to let you know exactly what you can make of it.
We have two questions. One is, tell us more about the team, and the other is, we onboard a lot of accredited investors coming into the space. What's so simple about the way you do the arbitraging?
Can you say that again?
You said that you make arbitraging simple. What process makes it easier?
About the team first. We have 10 full-time developers, and we have 10 actual, people that help with support, and we have a great community team.
Yes, we do.
Admins that actually help people. So overall, we actually have 27 on our team. But what we actually do...
And they're all sitting right here?
What we're actually trying to do with our bots is make it easy to use by being able to actually see every opportunity in front of you. And you can actually just double click after you have the bot set up. Double click to actually take that opportunity.
Good get to it.
Questions. So let me understand this. I get your bot. I have an account with maybe 2 exchanges, and the bot will recognize the APIs from those 2 exchanges. How do you deal with, not every exchange has a really solid API, so when I'm trying to arb between the 2, maybe I'm going to execute it on one side, but there's a good chance I might not get executed on the other side, therefore not allowing. How do you deal with those?
That's a great question.
Type of latency problems and issues?
So we actually have our own system that reads all the APIs that users generate to make sure that they meet our standards. And we've actually been contacted by 6 of the top 50 exchanges to get put on our bot. And we actually turned all them down because their APIs were not up to our standards. So,
and how do you, how many exchanges are you connected to then?
Right now we're connected to 10.
10, so I can only choose from those 10.
Right now, yeah. But we're looking to add to that more and more. And the exchanges that weren't up to our standard, we're actually working with them to build their APIs to where they're going to be safe for people. Because at the end of the day, we have to bring safety.
I agree, Tim.
You're building the exchanges API?
We're helping them.
Wow, okay.
You're so snobby, David.
We're here to help.
So that's how you make money.
Just looking for the securities. Okay. Interesting. I forgot my next question.
Love the fact that you have built what is the most important thing, I think, for any project in this space. It's about community. Because the tech isn't that important. Most of the time it's open source. What differentiates winners from losers are the quality, the capability of building communities, sustaining that community, nurturing that community, most importantly, serving that community. So I have a question about tokenomics. You have your token is already live. How is that going to appreciate? I understand gas fees, it's going to over time less and less. Do you have reserves of those tokens to continue to reward the community? Are all the tokens issued? Are you holding more? How are you continuing to incent, grow, and build a thriving community?
Basically, after the ICO, the team actually kept 350,000 tokens for ourselves. The rest were distributed. And we do, charge gas. And as those come back in, they are in our control. And we're gonna, do like airdrops and we also like to, do charity. So to help, bring in new people or people that are having problems, we actually have, live voting and stuff where we actually bring, different people that need help, and we try to, be a community. But in order to, create value, we basically have to, keep monetizing and just creating,
I wonder if we might get applause for David. Here you go, David. Have well done, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Where are you arbitraging people leave? I feel like I'm going to head out now.
Never!
No! I know you guys are going to. You're not now, though.
All right, let's get judges. Please rate score of 1 to
10.
Problem solving,
Five.
chance of probability, and the X factor, or in this case, the ARB factor. We might
Yeah!
Five. Arbolitions.
No, we're Arbtastic.
They're ARB-tastic.
Arbtastic.
All right, settle down.
I don't know, that one's retarded.
That was great. All right, judges, have you locked in your answers?
For the win.
You're still deliberating.
Five.
For the win. For the win.
As they are finalizing the tabulation for that presentation, let's bring up the third of 6. He is the founder, and I expect enthusiasm. You guys, let's cheer for everybody.
You guys love everyone as much as you love arbitraging, okay?
He is the founder of Crypto Hub. CryptoHub.com is the website. Would you please welcome Justin Luke Gambino?
Welcome to your stage.
Your friends call you Justin or Luke? Justin, just in time. All right, talk directly into the microphone. We're going to speak to the audience. Do we have the clock ready?
We have the clock ready. It's going now.
All right, brother, tell us elevator speech. What is Crypto Hub?
Hi guys, I'm from Australia, and look, I'll just give you a quick background of myself. My previous business, I was in risk management. Basically took a service and turned it into a product. I bootstrapped the company, started with about $2,000 in my bank account, built it up over time, and it attracted the attention of an international company called Drake Recruitment, who then we expanded throughout Australia. In the meantime, I came across Bitcoin. I think it was about $15 at the time. And I became quite intrigued and, just started buying and playing around. And, pretty soon lost interest in my own business. But, so anyway, what I decided to do was go and sell the company, which was sold quite well. So that was off. And then I thought, look, what am I going to do next? Because I was involved in cryptocurrency. But one thing I found was that back then, that was 2013, I had to go through Reddit forums, Slack channels, all over the internet just to find any information about anything. And then Ethereum, I accidentally discovered Ethereum's ICO in a Reddit channel one day, and I thought, what the heck's Ethereum? So I went over, had a look, and they were doing ICO, didn't have a clue what it is, but I thought, look, I'll have a go at it. So, but before that, I had sort of thrown in about $100,000 and lost it in crypto, and thought, well, I've come this far, might as well just keep going. So anyway, it turned out okay. I started investing in ICOs, learning more and more, but before long, that's Crypto Hub. I just want to show you a quick 1-minute video at the end. But before long, my phone was ringing off the hook, and I was helping people non-stop get involved in crypto. And I basically didn't have a life. So then the idea came along, well, what about a site that actually helps teach people how to get involved in cryptocurrency, has a subscription where they can get in, and we've got 3 different levels. So, your beginners, your noobs, your cowboys, your intermediate, and your cryptonauts, your advanced. So basically set out, register the domains cryptohub.com, .org, .net, .io, all of those, and set out to start to build this in the last 12 months. So that's where Crypto Hub came about. But the problem that it actually solves is
smash the like button, guys. Need to get this over 100.
The new people out there, especially when you've got a rush on, you've got all these people wanting to get involved, but you've only got a door this big. No one can really get through because a lot of people won't take the time to sit there and figure it out. So this is taking what seems complex and putting in the basic language just to help people understand. It opens the door for a lot more of a user base for people to come in to crypto. So we've got 2 different platforms. So one is subscription based. Now we're almost at MVP. Tested the market. We've already got sales lined up. We've had pre-sales. And that's just a subscription base. So that's just the business model to get cash flow in the door quickly and moving along. The second side of it is the social platform. So look, I envisage actually Crypto Hub being like what it says, the hub when it comes to crypto. So, but like a social platform like Udemy or YouTube or something, but that's just for crypto only and everything's vetted. But then we go and find out all the influencers. So if you look at on YouTube, the top 20 influencers, they've got about 15 million subscribers. So we don't see them as competition. We go and see all of those guys and we say, hey, look, come to the hub. We get them set up, help them create affiliate programs, all those sort of things, so they can begin to. We're basically creating a stage because there's a lot of knowledge in the heads of people out there to be able to share. So
Yeah.
As a courtesy for our speaker, if we could keep the discussions in the room down, if you want to talk, there's the expo hall right outside, and that way we can hear what they're saying. Okay. All right, Travis.
And I hope you can understand my Aussie accent. I'm speaking fast because I've only got a short time.
That's great. Now I'm Australian as well now. So is this based on a blockchain? Is this just information?
Okay. Yeah. So the first subscription side is not. That's purely the business model. The blockchain side is the social platform, where it's going to be a utility token, where people basically going to have utilities to access the actual platform, and so people are paid with the hub token.
We're getting it.
Go ahead.
Perfect.
Yeah, so when did you start it again? What's the time frame? And where are we going?
Okay, so right now we've just been building the brand, get everything set up. We've just finished the white paper. We're in seed funding at the moment. By the time we're looking to launch the actual social platform, we're looking about October next year. We're about 6 to 8 weeks away from the MVP being launched for the subscription platform. So in the meantime, it's just a seed funding, and you know, I personally don't feel right now is the right time for an ICO, just based on the market. You've got to do double the work, double the spend, double the, to get half the traction. So it doesn't make sense from a business perspective. But we are working towards that, and we want to have everything set up. So when that next rush comes, we're ready to go.
What about your team?
Okay, so we've got about a team between 7 to 10 at the moment. I'll just name a couple of the key players on the team. Obviously, there's myself, and there's my partner, Xenia. Now, she works for an incubator, so they help startups go from concept in tech, go from startup through concept, and then go to market, raising, all those sort of things. So the other person is Sundar. Now, he spent 15 years here in the States, and he was doing developing for trade processing and securities, trading platforms, all those sort of things. NASDAQ Japan with some of his clients that he worked for and those sort of things. So 20 years worth of experience and blockchain developer. So we've got him on the team. And from advisory services and PR, we've got Ross DeGrusev from Marzi PR, and there's a host of other great people. So
okay, I understand you have a video that you want to show. It's about a minute long.
just a quick. Yeah, it's 1 minute.
Yeah, perfect. You got a minute left.
I got a minute
video.
All right. I'll just skip through these here. Sorry. 1 second. Let's keep going. Sorry, this is for my.
We have a whole presentation. Everybody take this in. Here we go. Okay.
Sorry. Just want to go to the last.
Actually,
slide.
point it.
Just want to go to the second last slide.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
It's a black screen.
Can you guys
just keep going? Sorry, guys.
Very nice. You have 3 seconds left.
It's okay.
Play it?
You play the video?
It's just a video on the last slide.
Nobody else got a video. What do you get a video?
Well, I thought, look, I've only got a certain amount of time. I just put my best foot forward. So.
Right.
While we're waiting, is it put another shrimp on the barbie or another prawn?
It's both of those, mate. It's both of those.
Put a
Okay, next one. Next slide.
You bastard.
Okay, here we go.
Play.
Let's press play. How do you press play on this?
There we go.
Okay.
Flopping groper. Floppy groper.
I'll take both of those things from you.
Actually, somebody's had questions from them.
Oh, that's right. We have questions. By the way, I just have a question.
Sure.
When you design that little character where you're thinking of a blue poo,
I didn't do a one of you guys in the team yet, so.
This looks like blue poo.
But hey, it does it for remembrance factor. You might forget the blue
I'm not
poo,
gonna
so-
forget that, I
Yeah,
might have nightmares. Okay, go ahead, guys.
Okay, could you just real quick again explain, what is your token economics for the utility?
Sorry, can you?
The utility token economics, again, specifically? How do they make money and how do people use it and why? do
Yeah,
they
sure,
use it?
absolutely. Okay. So basically what happens with the utility token, so we've got the site set up, and so to actually access it and buy, for example, so when we get the educators to come on, they're going to set up their programs. Now they're going to be paid in the hub tokens, and visitors to the site come and need to be able to purchase hub tokens to be able to buy those courses that they've set up, and then they're able to cash out. So we've got to look at liquidity and those sort of things. So,
So I come to your site, I buy the token, and then I can disperse it to whoever I want to learn whatever course from?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, and then the YouTube channeler, what does he usually do with it? And he just cashes it out, or
Correct,
what
so-
makes them want to hold it, right?
Okay, so it's going to be in circulation. So, and working similar to the point where, say we got someone comes to the site as a visitor, they're going to obviously buy the token for a buy price, and then you've got the educators that are actually, when they're going to cash out, they're going to cash out for a sell price. So we've got movement going through the whole platform constantly, but you're actually using that utility token to access those, and then when they cash out, they're going to cash out in Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever, but we want to make it available so that they can actually buy the visitors can buy the token with fiat as well as, because we want to get new users in. That's the main goal of it, and to be able to educate them in a way that makes it easy for them to understand.
It's really interesting because it's a little bit what we do, what we focus on accredited investors and walk them through the process. So I have two questions. One, you say your seed and you're launching in October.
All 268 of them.
You're launching in October?
Yeah, I'll rephrase that for you. So, yeah. Okay, so we've got the social platform. So the business actually has two sides to it. So we've got a
6 contestants.
Model, which isn't tokenized. That's just to educate people, and that's stuff that we're creating ourselves. That's going live in around about 2 months. Okay. But the social platform, by the time we've had time to build it and those sort of things, we're estimating around about October next year.
So this is a very competitive space. What's your go-to-market plan on this? Briefly.
The go-to-market plan? Yep. Okay, so looking at it currently, the problem hasn't been solved. There's a lot of people out there aiming to make a personal brand for themselves, but
the winner will be
certain,
announced.
Part of the market. So if you create a brand that actually is what it says, and that's the hub, and create world-class branding with a product that backs it up, we can become the hub for crypto where people come to. So with the go-to-market strategy is you look at affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing, you look at ShareASale. They've got over 700,000, over 1 million now, over 1 million affiliates looking for products to sell. They're commission only, so they're only getting paid commissions based on product that they actually move. So it's really low cost. And then if you look at affiliate marketing, especially in a downturn between 2008 and 2011, they actually doubled their payouts from 1 billion to over 2 billion, and that was in a global recession. So that's one real strong point where we're actually getting it out to a lot of people quickly. With social marketing, we don't see that as really, the ad cost spend, and there's still a little bit of resistance there in crypto from that. I think we're just going to burn through money if we go that line, but that's great for content and just creating yourself as an authority in the market just by sharing great content and building those sort of things up. So, but your affiliate marketing and partnerships and schools and universities.
1 minute left.
Yeah.
All right. So, Justin, I gotta say, man, I get pitched
Totally
this idea
agree.
probably at least once every 2 weeks. The utility token play for a platform as payment. I mean, during your pitch and during your answer, you just said, well, we're also going to accept fiat as well. So that kind of like completely eliminates the need for a utility token within Access. So I guess what you're talking a lot about why during this conversation. I want to really hear about how. So when she asks you what's your go-to-market strategy, and you say affiliate marketing for a utility token that gets you access, mean, I gotta say, that's not, like how will you build community? Like, the last, these guys, building and you're fresh, you're new, you're doing this, but how are you going to build a community that is the only way you're going to actually ever stand a chance against the Bills?
Absolutely, absolutely, I agree.
That was a minute used to
Not brevity, though.
question.
Oh, yeah.
Way to go, Judge.
No.
Be real brief. Good.
Yeah, no worries. Well, when you're looking at, you've got the actual influencers from the different part of the market. They're bringing community with them also, so you're actually getting the help of those who are already influencers. So you're not looking for everybody, you're just looking for the leaders that lead the others, and you're bringing them to the platform.
Just name any influencers you have, so I'll answer that well. Do you have any influencers signed up? Any major influencers?
No, we're working towards that now, and we're not ready for the social platform. So that's in the plan, but as far as an MVP for a subscription model, we're very close. So.
Let's have a hand for Justin with crypto. All right, judges. What do you got something witty to say, Mr. Ronnie Moyes?
I just wanted to say that I'm trying to get as far away as I can from Donald Trump, and I have tickets to visit Australia in March.
Yes.
That will get you.
I'll host you.
My friend,
Thanks a lot, Ronnie Moyes. That was very valuable.
Come to my part of the world.
All right,
Yes.
judges, please score problem-solving, science, audience, chance, ability, and
Pleasure.
X Factor. While they're doing that, Mr. Travis Wright will tell jokes.
I will not.
Mr. Travis Wright
Well,
will sing
so
and
far
dance.
arbitraging is the winner.
Mr. Travis Wright
By a
will
mile.
yodel. All
I
right.
can tell a rock person, Pearson loves arbitraging, loves the idea.
Good, Mr. Travis Wright is going to clog dance.
All right, can you do it now? Yeah.
We're going to skibbity.
Yeah.
Nobody's seen that.
And you do an arm dance? Do an arm dance.
Skibbity is the next Gangnam Style. If you haven't seen
Those
it.
Russian guys?
Just like that.
We're going to teach you to do arm dance.
Because it's getting hot up here.
My little baby.
Let's introduce our next
Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we have, the company is called Genie Paper Studios, geniepaper.com. Welcome to the stage, Oslin Lewis, the manager director of Genie Paper.
Give it up for him. I feel so nice. Here you go, Oslin.
Trying to brown nose the judges.
Excellent, excellent. All right, you ready to go? We got the clock ready. Make sure you hold the mic up close to your mouth. Are you going to be playing a presentation?
Do you have a blue poo dancing thing?
He's already lost.
Yeah, do you have a dancing blue poo in yours? You do not. Okay.
He already lost.
Take off the
Kate, hang up.
Back there.
Kate, hang up.
How long is your presentation? Don't start yet. How long is this part? Really quickly. Okay, go.
All right. Action.
Welcome, everyone. My background, my name is Oslin Lewis, and my background is in real estate development. And I started renting spaces to the film industry for making movies. So right from the beginning, they were paying me money from day one. And my project is about building a film studio or one-stop hub where everything can be done in one location. So as you see here, we're just an all-service for gaming, entertainment, esports, including a data bank where you can deliver the content.
See, it's right there.
Where you can deliver the content, where you can deliver the content directly to the consumer, and you can get paid under a smart contract via the blockchain, and you can also pay all the other stakeholders immediately that contribute to the content or any gaming creation, whatever you created. Sorry. Oh God. Okay. Sorry. Companies like Netflix, all these companies have a very significant shortage of content right now. That's why there's a crazy M&A in the business, because everybody wants content. Netflix will lose their license with Disney in a few months, so they have like 20 billion to create content. But you need a physical location in order to make the films, and these are just some of the studios there. This is what money is going to be spent in last year, this is what the money was spent. This year, it's over 70% more. And the red is the like Netflix and The OTT means over the top, like stuff to your mobile devices. So this is our main hub. It has office space, data center, accommodations. Everything is in one location, including a pool, a shooting pool. Now this came because a lot of companies that was renting from me, I'd rent on the sound stage, then I'd ask me for accommodations and office space, and it was all fragmented all over the city of Toronto. And it added about 30% to the cost of a production because it was so fragmented. So my concept is to bring everything into one location, which is a mixed-use project basically, so you're not depending on income from just one particular aspect of the studio, of the facilities, and you also have the suppliers who supply lighting, supply other services that are there that's going to pay you for that. So our revenue models are that we get the rent guaranteed. So basically, the token will be registered against the property like a bond or a mortgage. So you're going to have the security against your money. And if you want to, you get a percentage of the profit sharing because they rent the spaces from anywhere from between $50,000 to $100,000 a day for renting the space from us. You got an income coming in and it's triple net. They pay all the expenses over and above that. And you know, that's basically as you can read, if everybody can guess that easily. And this is just some of the income that will produce from the project itself. So you have an income actually, not just
very cool, Blake.
Oh, sorry. Okay. This space, while we're building the big facility, I've got this facility that's going to be running in about 4 months from now. I was in MIPCOM just earlier part of last week, and there's a big $180 million film that's being made, and they need a water tank. And because this is a brand new facility I'm building that's almost completed, I can build a water tank in the facility for shooting a major movie that's coming out. And I'm getting income from that right away, even before I open the door from this facility. And the front is a data center, which is an emergent cool data center.
I actually think that
we can stream,
this guy's good, and if arbitrage and win, I think David should pick this guy, because he's got a good concept.
With the configured in a unique way with the technology, it's about 1.5 million.
But he's very nerdy.
Those other data centers, so you can stream directly to the consumer or do whatever you want with a data center. So this is just a look at the facilities, what it looks like inside, high ceilings, etc., etc. And we're just connecting content sellers, independent producers, to buyers, and manage the IP along the supply chain. And these are just from script to streaming is what we're offering our clients.
All right, Aslan.
These are
a couple minutes left.
These are the team, and for the gaming, this is the team of advisory that we will be also using the facilities for motion capture. And this team has done a lot of gaming over the years, and gaming produces a lot of money, and they pay a lot of money for gaming. I've been renting space for gamers that they spend $10,000 a day for just a small room. But these are who we're going to be working with as far as bringing business into the facility.
Okay, a lot of impressive logos up there. You know, people are connecting different brands. Why Genie paper? I'm trying to understand what that even
Well,
means.
you think about a genie, it's like a genie magic carpet, and you have a piece of paper, and then with that paper, you're going to create something. It's amazing. So it's just a name, just a brand name, just an idea.
Okay.
Can I ask you about blockchain? Where does blockchain fit into all of this?
Well, after you make the content, and you decide to put it on the data center, and you have, say, Netflix and Hulu and all those companies, they're going to be on our part of our exchange platform where they can bid for the content that these creators produce, if it's going to be an independent producer. So that particular content has a blockchain attached to it, so it's identified so nobody can rip it off. And if they get paid on a smart contract, so all the contributors who contribute to making that movie will get paid instantly and settled on it. So
you've got DRM basically built into it because of blockchain.
Right, and if they stream to the consumer directly and they stream to your mobile device, that would be attached to it, so they can control that. And all your IP that the creator does is also going to be attached to that. So if somebody wants a license, they can do it online and all stream it, just making it easy for the creator to produce what they're going to do.
Okay, so we got 30 seconds. Are you doing a token raise then? How's the funding happening?
Yeah, we're going to do a token raise, yes, absolutely. It's a security token, and we're in the process of, we got our smart contracts and everything ready, so we're going to be doing that very shortly.
All right, let's give it up for Aslan. Let's do 5 minutes on the show.
I like this guy's presentation.
I have a film background, as you know. You're doing a lot of things here, many things that are outside of the scope of your skill sets, right? You have a real estate background in providing stuff to the studios, and the basic, if I distilled your pitch down to, there's a large demand for production right now, content creation, an abundance of it, and there's perhaps an insufficient amount of facilities, and I've got a big, development solution to help with that. And I think that security tokens and tokenization of real estate is the future, and here's a big lighthouse project that's, full of pizzazz and wonder and meet celebrities and all the cool stuff that comes with it. That actually sounds like a good project that directly fits within your skill sets. When you start saying we're also going to do blah, 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 and blockchain, all the things and everything you need in the entertainment business, you lose me. You actually, if you distill it down, have something that's fairly compelling. So I'm just going to focus on that one piece. What are the biggest projects you've developed in the past? How many sound stages have you owned? What studios do you have relationships with? Who can you pre-sign up so that you can say, look, I've got revenue coming. I've got groups that are already committing to using this stuff, because that's how you're going to get traditional investors, as well as, the real estate tokens are going to be huge. There's a quadrillion-dollar market emerging with the securitization of all the world's assets, from currencies to bonds to stocks to real estate. I'm a huge fan of where you're at if you get rid of all the bells and whistles and simplify it.
Okay, my background, like I said, I've been involved in acting, a lot of film people, and loan them money to make films as friends, so I pretty much know about the film industry. Right, but I also invested in into a lot of technology companies, and I own a technology company that did part of the search engine for Google. And so, and I was the first person to call mobile media, and we developed content on a mobile device with no apps or no download. I started that in 2006, so it's a bit cross. Now, like the first part of the studios, 2 studios, the bigger one is going to be built, and the first one is going to be ready in 6 months. So I deal with Pinewood Studio in Toronto because they rent from me all the time, and I've been in the business of supplying space to the industry for a lot of years. So Pinewood rents from me. They don't have enough space right now. They're one of my big clients. And also, there's a movie that's going to be, can I mention it? Swarm? So it's a movie's coming out, and they want to get a water tank, and they're either going to go to one of the places.
Just make sure you don't violate any confidentiality.
No, sorry, exactly. Now they need a big water tank, and because I'm gonna get that contract from them. So I just got that from MIPCOM. I did a Cannes Film Festival. So as a real estate person, I pre-sell it before I actually build it.
And you need some tech skill to do even just the pure real estate side of this.
Yeah,
there's a market there.
I'm going to bring some people on too. Like I've got a list of people who want to come in on it. But thank you. That's a good question, sir. Thank you.
If one of the main selling points here is that your cost is going to be a lot less versus what somebody would have to pay in Hollywood, for example. And I assume you're trying to get some business from the U.S. into Canada. Is Ontario or the Canadian government giving you subsidies or tax breaks because of the business?
Yeah. I've been renting for 25, 30 years plus, so they're 39% of the money they give it a tax credit, and using American dollars to buy it, and it's Canadian costs. So I'm going to get a profit on the exchange right now, and I've been renting in that industry for years, so I know them pretty well. I got a lot of the relationships with them already on that aspect of the business. Yes, there's a lot of tax credit, and we're shooting on like a lot of movies in Canada right now for the Americans. Right now, that's exactly what's happening. Netflix has 15 movies they're shooting in Toronto right now. Thanks.
So security token offering, so how much are you asking for in total to accomplish your dreams within this, and how much have you raised so far?
Okay, I have my own money, so I'm the investor who put my money in first because I have assets and I have money. So the second building that you saw, which is the 132,000 square feet, that building is going to be ready shortly, and I've got people already wanting to rent that space from me.
Okay, numbers. So I'm just curious.
You want to know the income?
So how much have you raised? I don't need to know your personal income. I'm just curious. How much have you raised so far for this project, and how much are you looking to raise? We saw your use of proceeds and your proposed P&L. So yeah.
I put about $6 million of my own money into real estate, the first one, and I've owned the land on the other one, and I'm going to raise about $25 million for the first building. On the second building is sold with 150,000 square feet.
He's done.
All right, there we go. Real fast.
He's done.
The blockchain
done.
part of it, just kind of getting lost for me. Why would Netflix, for example, who's shooting 15 projects with...
No, not shooting 15.
With 15 projects in Toronto, okay?
No, Netflix more than that, lots more than that.
Okay, either way, you're right. I'm sure they've got teams already. Actually, I know they have teams already working on their own blockchain technology. Why would they stream it through your system?
I did not say that. I saw independent.
I think you said something like they would.
No, independent producers that has to sell to the distributor that's not making any money can stream from my data center directly to the consumer. Just the independent producers, because when Pinewood Venture meet through with Disney, whatever, they take their content. I'm giving independent producers a chance to make a profit by bypassing the distributor. Let this lady have one question, please.
Okay, that's no, I'm sorry, that's we've got to keep it fair for everybody. I understand she's a beautiful lady, we've got to keep it fair for everybody. Yeah. Let's give it up for Rosalind Lewis.
Yeah!
Citypaper.com.
All right, Rosalind. Nice stage left.
Part of the token tank is being able to communicate your message effectively in a way that everybody understands, and so we have to keep it equal and fair.
I don't have that information right now, Chris.
Opportunity presenter here. So, judges, please, on a score of 1 to 5, problem-solving, size of audience, chance of probability, and
X factor.
Give them a minute just to do that. Everybody stand up for a moment. Let's stretch it out. We got 2 more presentations left. Yeah. And then we're going to find out who our...
now hug your neighbor.
That's right, yeah. That's like a Tony Robbins conference. Now turn to your neighbor and say, you're
I'm awesome.
Live with passion.
All right, sit down. Here we go. Let's do...
Sit down and shut up. I'm going to tell you to talk.
Did you get
stretch, not talk.
Back up.
I didn't believe it. I'm out.
You want a photo? Here we go. This photo break of the judges.
No, I'm just teasing.
Oh wait, that was
I was sitting there.
All right, here we go.
I just...
I
like your
Yeah, very nice. You look very judgy, very judgmental.
Yeah. All right, everybody have a seat again. Take a seat. By the way, that free tip brought to you on crowd control, courtesy of, I don't remember who taught me that, but have you ever been in a room and they're like, okay, everybody shut up and sit down. People keep talking and talking. The most effective way to silence a room is to go.
Alrighty then.
It just taps into us in kindergarten.
Okay. Cheers.
Subservient.
Yeah. Okay, let's do number 5.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to give it up for Block Commerce, blockcommerce.io. We have William Mager here, who is the head of investor relations and media. Give him a big warm token tank. Welcome, Token Tokens.
Your friends call you Bill? You've been called many things. Me too. Okay, let's step up here, front and center. That's where the spotlight is. It's on you. If you'll hold the mic closely so we can hear you. Go ahead and give us the elevator speech for blockcommerce.io.
First off, thank you all for coming today, and thank you for having us. It's an honor to speak in front of you guys, and I really appreciate the opportunity. So, the biggest problem these days is adoption. We need to get people utilizing real products in order to take things to the next level, right? So the thing that's great about Block Commerce is we've already had over 250,000 merchants utilize our technology. What we deliver is a new platform for e-commerce. Think back 20 years ago when eBay and PayPal revolutionized commerce. Well, we're looking to bring in the next level of revolution with our platform. Our technology is currently built. It's been transacting for the last 3.5 years. We've done over $4 billion in GMV to date. And as I mentioned, we've had over 250,000 unique merchants on the platform. What we've created is a powerful suite of e-commerce tools that allows you to import any store online, whether it's Amazon, Shopify, etc., into a centralized hub where you can transact across all of them. We also have training. We're partnered with eBay, and eBay hires us to train their merchants in new jurisdictions such as Russia, where they're making a big push right now. And the key takeaway is a lot of projects never delivered anything. So we went a little differently. We put in a lot of time, money, and effort to make sure that we had a finished product before we ever went to market. And I think that the proof of concept exists. If you go to our website, you can see there's actually a stream of live transactions on our technology and on our platform today. So that's about the elevator pitch.
Very nice. So tell us, where are you today then, as far as your roadmap and your technology? Where are you, and where do you plan to go after your raise?
Sure. Okay, so the raise is primarily so that we can create our own bank, because we feel that there's not enough options in this space for people in this industry. So,
as far as I know, yeah, that's the only presentation.
Right now, after the raise, we'll launch the platform. We're thinking Q1, Q2 of next year, we'll start opening up for business as far as that's concerned.
How is you say you've got 250,000 customers already, merchants?
Correct. Unique merchants that have transacted on the platform.
Okay, so the platform before you were blockchaining it was what?
E-commerce. It's basically an arbitrage suite, as well as a supply chain management system, and we've kind of built a lot of modules into it, and it just continues to expand and get better as we go.
Okay, so what will this new version do that's blockchain based that your existing model won't?
Well, so basically what this new model will do is
one more after this guy
to offer free stores to people, allow them to have a powerful suite of tools that nothing compares to when you see it operational. And we're going to allow any cryptocurrency to build on top of our protocol and have their own adoption with their consumers and be able to transact, which should increase adoption for everyone.
It's like a blockchain Shopify.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I was ready to ask about that. So why would a customer want to use your platform when Shopify can take all these cryptocurrencies, right? They have some modules to be able to accept crypto. What's the key differentiator?
Sure. A lot more value added and a lot cheaper. We're going to offer it for free and much lower fees. I mean, the average e-commerce retailer pays anywhere from 10 to 20% of their gross. So here they're going to be sub 1%, 2.5%, somewhere in that vicinity, depending on the transaction and which currency they're going with. So I think the key takeaway is that we're giving it to them. So that's a pretty good incentive. And then over time, the currency and utility token on the platform will incentivize users to transact more in blockchain as they go. They'll get better rates.
Talk about that token a little bit.
Sure. Well, so the first token is BCOM. That's like decentralized ownership of the platform. And it's going to be a security token. Anybody that holds that token will receive a proportional share of all of the transaction fees from the platform. So that's the first side. Then next year we're going to launch the utility token as well, which is blocks. That's the protocol with it's called AMPEX 6. It's a unique consensus module. So
you're talking to me like I know what that is. I mean, this particular one. You've heard of us, Joel.
Say again?
That's a really great question. So you're creating decentralized commerce, sort of d-commerce.
Correct.
Right? So that's maybe a good way to sort of pitch that, is it's d-commerce instead of e-commerce.
I like that.
That's good. You can have that for free.
Thank you.
All right. What else would you like us to know about your project before we send you over to the judges?
I mean, I think the real takeaway is that we're here to help people. We're here to help people build an income stream for themselves, get their time back, get their freedom, and take control of their lives again, right? Because nobody wants to be out there trading time for money. slaving away. So we want to empower as many people as we can to achieve their dreams.
Okay, we have some extra time, so we're going to turn it over to the judges and let them have that extra time. The sharks, as it were. So,
Sharks.
ladies and gentlemen.
Hard.
No
All right, I'll get it started. So the 250K merchants, what is your largest geo? Like, tell me about how that's broken out per geo of the merchants. Geography.
Oh, okay. Well, it's global. We get a lot of UK, US, etc. So I would say the biggest is probably Europe.
So there's usually an 80-20 rule with most businesses like this. So is there, what's most, so Europe period is 80%?
Well, I mean, as far as the 80-20, you know, I think that everybody's valuable here. It's not just the 20%, but mainly the US and Europe right now is where we have the majority of our concentration. You know.
So one of the things that you mentioned was basically offering a lower price than Shopify.
Correct.
So usually undercutting giants doesn't work out in most people's favor. So like, what else are you providing outside of that that you think you can really battle, you know, Shopify's suite of current crypto tools and the ones that they're
I'm using a big,
well, sure. So
big,
the average
big battery
Shopify
charger.
merchant pays anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 per year, and then they pay about 2% on top of their transactions as well. So there's a tremendous savings to be had with our platform, but it doesn't just stop there. We also create a ton of value that isn't found on these other platforms. We have an entire supply chain module that will allow you to drop ship from Alibaba and all these other places, offer millions of items on your store with the click of a button. You can take your Shopify with one click and import it into our system, same with your Amazon and everything else. So it's a centralized hub that allows you to control all of your business. So instead of having to go into all the different accounts and manage everything, you can do it from one location. A lot of different things coming as well.
So the 250,000 merchants is a big number. What's the transaction volume that all those merchants in aggregate are delivering?
Sure. We have a live feed on the website, and I believe we're at 4.135 billion in GMV today.
And so buying a bank, I started, I think, the first crypto bank back in 2014. And so I know a lot about buying banks. Where are you planning to buy a bank? What's your plan there?
Well, we're thinking about going with the credit union route, and then basically the members will be the token holders in essence. So that'll give us some flexibility when it comes to operations. And
credit union where?
Oh, US based. Yeah, we're also going to do offshore as well.
Love to learn more about someone attempting to get that done. I don't think it's been successfully done, and this is an area of curiosity. Please keep me informed.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, actually the banks, it's really interesting because I mean, there's people doing full ICOs of security token just on the bank, and you have this whole other project that's going on, so that's going to be quite a challenge. Be interesting to see how it goes. But more importantly for me, you talked about blocks, or is it Ampex 6 is your utility token?
That's the consensus model.
Can you tell me how much money are you trying to raise? What is the token supply, and what is exactly the utility on that?
Sure. So the total supply is 480 million tokens. We're selling 50% or 240 million to the public. We're doing accredited investors only in the US. 40 cents. Yeah, we're looking to raise anywhere from 60 to 90 million on the Beacon sale. The utility, we're hoping, but that's going to be next year. Oh, well, this one in particular, because
we have two tokens. Why would I hold your utility token?
Well, of course.
I use it.
Okay, so the utility token would be utilized on the platform and creates its own utility. What we're selling right now is actually the security token, which is the decentralized ownership. So you would hold that because you're going to be paid revenue from every transaction on the platform.
Totally. Rock loves
Any other questions? No?
No further questions, Your Honor. All right.
Thank you very much.
Billy, Billy, all the things that he's done.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Best of luck.
If you want to just before if he's got that last second.
Now get off.
Protocol.
Hey, Bill.
What is the utility token? If he's got a moment, you know, I think.
You're being recalled.
I'm taking back.
If the utility token, you talked about some new protocol. What is it?
Okay, sure. Is this?
Yep.
It's like lattice based, so there's 6 points of contact. It's like IOTA if it didn't have the the flaws with the security. So basically, each transaction is verified by 2 transactions before it, and then it goes 2 sub-levels deep for 6 points of contact.
Who are you hoping to use it? I mean, what's the market you're trying to serve, and when is that coming out? I mean, we're getting far along in call it the protocol wars.
Fair enough. Well, it's already developed, and basically, it's going to be a platform that we're going to have a lot of dApps on as well. Block Commerce is just the first dApp on that platform.
All right.
You say it's Brock Commerce? Is that what it is?
Oh. The second coming of Bill. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you so much.
All right. Judges, you know the drill.
Look, Brock is drinking a beer. Means he's a badass. I like Brock. He's a cool guy.
Doodles are good too. Those count extra points if you do.
Any judge drinking a beer on stage is badass.
That's right. That's a bonus. And then we will bring up our final presenter.
You saved the best for last.
Well, I don't know if that's true.
We don't know if that's true either. That was a lie.
What?
Fake news. We're going to find out in a moment. Thank you all for paying attention to our presenters and giving them space here to share their message. The last one is Divi Project. The website is diviproject.org, and we have the co-founder and lead developer, Nick Saponaro. Nick, come on down.
Oh, it's somebody else. Hello.
And we have somebody else.
Hello, somebody else.
Are you Nick?
I'm Nick.
Michael.
This is Michael.
Nick and Michael. How's it going?
We got both today.
Good to see you. All right, gentlemen. Are you ready to do this?
Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, the time is beginning.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name is Nick Saponaro. I'm the lead full-stack developer at the Divi Project. This is my other co-founder, Michael Greenwood, and he's our CTO. The Divi Project was created as a community-driven cryptocurrency project to address and alleviate some of the burdens when it comes to accessibility, usability within cryptocurrency. And we basically see ourselves as the PayPal for crypto that pays you back. We created the world's very first 5-layered, one-click masternode deployment process that makes setting up and earning cryptocurrency with a masternode as simple as pressing play on Spotify, pretty much. We launched our mainnet about 1 month ago now, and in that month we've already added just about 400 masternodes to our ecosystem. With over 51% of our coins allocated to masternodes, we are very confident in the security of our network at this point. We find that a lot of the issues within cryptocurrency, as far as usability goes, come with all of the pain points that you experience, all the friction that you experience from start to finish. I mean, everything from just buying your first Bitcoin to getting on an exchange and trying to purchase your first altcoin or whatever you're trying to get, and then securely storing that altcoin in one of a bajillion wallets, and then eventually maybe selling that altcoin or using it to stake or trying to actually spend it in the real world. All of these points lose people along the way, and that's why we haven't really seen a lot of critical mass in this space. And so for those issues, we have solutions.
Yeah, so part of the solutions that we're looking at is how do we actually provide security from the ground up and by design. And not just basic security, but military grade security. Things that we all sort of take for granted whenever we're using our credit cards, whenever we're tapping our phone to use Apple Pay or anything else. There's so much that's happening in the background. And those things that we feel like we can actually bring to the common user. The other part of the solution that we're really providing is around user experience. With my background at Microsoft, working on Windows, SQL Server, Xbox, many other things, I've been able to bring up a lot of different stuff within my background to be able to apply here. And that's how do we actually make it usable and not just pretty? Because whenever we're looking at something that's incredibly usable, normally it's something that we can just use and be able to put away. Like if we look at something like Apple Pay, you don't actually see all the other aspects that are in the background, right? You're looking at different aspects of I'm just tap my phone and I leave. And that's what I think that we need to see with cryptocurrency as well. And when we're looking at how many different
this is the last one.
that are available, and things that people have currently within their portfolio, they want to easily be able to spend those as well. So we're looking at how can we actually add things like atomic swaps, light network, even exchange swaps directly in the background, and be able to make those things happen instantaneously so that they don't actually have to go and make those things happen themselves.
Yeah, we found that our sort of gamification of the proof of stake masternode protocol has incentivized users to, rather than spending or selling all of their earnings, to actually hold, because each level of masternode requires a higher rate of allocation and of course returns a higher rate of coins. So people are holding on to the coins and to get to the next level. This is valuable to, of course, the user as an investor, but also to a merchant who may want to accept a cryptocurrency that deals with a lot of volatility. A lot of people don't want to accept Bitcoin or Ethereum or what have you, because by the time the transaction is finished, they may have lost part or more of the transaction itself. And we've implemented a lot of technologies and improvements in our blockchain that allow for things like microtransactions. By splitting up larger UTXOs into smaller portions, we lower the bloat in the blockchain. And by basing our fees on value rather than on data size, we actually can allow for very, very tiny transactions to take place without charging the user more than it would be worth.
And that sort of brings us to what is our competitive advantage. So our competitive advantage really comes around the user experience, about making that incredibly easy, from spending to purchasing to swapping, exchanging, doing all these other things that we already do today with our more fiat-based currencies, right? So whenever you go overseas and you start to pay for stuff, you trust that it's going to be secure and that you're not going to have to actually do the exchange yourself or actually have to convert it yourself. And then the other part that gives us a large advantage is really based around how we're making sure that individuals feel secure and how they're making investments. Or with our masternodes, where people can easily deploy those. Currently, with a lot of masternodes that people have to set up, very experienced developers and experienced individuals within the space, it'll take them about 3 to 4 hours to set up because of all the command line commands that they actually have to put in and do. We can actually do this for them within about 10 to 15 minutes. So that really reduces that. And whenever markets change and whenever they're going up and down, having stuff like this that is generating more without having to do something like setting up a massive mining configuration really helps the common sort of user. The user that we're going to see once the market starts to come back up.
As far as revenue goes, we do take 17% of the block reward. Every block goes into a treasury fund that's fully transparent and can be sort of voted on by the community for certain aspects of our project. Primarily it goes to development, exchanges, liquidity solutions and things like that. And we do donate 1% of it to charity. If you guys know any charities that you're interested in, let us know.
The Back Crypto charity is pretty good.
Yeah. Furthermore, we do have a subscription-based revenue model. The Mochi, which is our Masternode one-click cloud installer, does cost $15 a month. Right now it is free for the foreseeable future as we sort of onboard as many customers as we possibly can. So that's another, the $15 is for hosting. As well as once we implement our in-app exchange, we will be able to take a small transaction.
Brock is a boss, man.
Exchanges or swaps that we
legit for real.
Facilitate.
Well, gentlemen, thanks for answering all the questions that we didn't get to ask, but they were you read our minds.
Very
so
nice.
maybe you can read the minds of the judges as well. Let's begin the questions.
Sure.
I just have one just point of clarification for me. Is this a tool set for helping people establishing masternodes or that have existing masternodes to manage those nodes for whatever networks they're choosing to run and understanding where profitabilities lie and whatnot? Or are you also launching your own blockchain?
So we launched our own blockchain, and the Masternode one-click installer is for our blockchain.
Yes.
Basically, the Masternodes act as the backbone for the network. They secure our network and allow us to facilitate all the other features that we're building out into our smart wallets for desktop and for mobile coming soon.
What are your backgrounds? Can you tell us a little bit?
You said what are our backgrounds? So I'm a full stack developer. I've been doing web development for about 4 years, mainly freelance, and I joined this project actually as a freelancer in the beginning and became a co-founder. Michael's background is way more impressive, so.
I started a lot of my experience back in 1996 with Microsoft, working for Windows NT security core components as a lead developer. And as I started to go through, I worked on SQL Server, working on some of their scalability issues and problems. And then I ended up moving over into the user experience side of things because I had a really nice bridge between understanding actually true usability and how we can actually make things easier for people, but also from the development side of things. So I also worked on things like Origami, which was one of the first touch experiences that Microsoft ever made. And I was the primary person driving that from a design standpoint. And I was also working on Windows 7.
Using
providing all the
crypto god phone
to interact with the whole system, and also working with a Visual Studio team in order to make sure that we have templates that developers could use that would have some of those basic principles in it.
I just wanted to say I have a subscriber here from San Francisco, brilliant man, and he speaks very, very highly of you. Steve, right there.
Thanks, Steve.
So you're here at Token Tech Live. How much are you looking to raise, and how much have you raised so far?
So whenever we did our ICO last year, we raised about how much?
It came, well, because of the market at the time, it was around 3.5 million. What it ended up being with after marketing and some of the discounts and stuff that we gave was around 2. And we were able to stretch that into a full launch of our desktop and
what's the price, Bob?
What jurisdiction is that under?
So we have a for-profit entity in Costa Rica where our CEO resides. And we also have a foundation in Panama, and we just opened a new for-profit in Lithuania where we're planning to expand our development efforts.
Are you listed anywhere right now? Are you listed on any?
That's because my phone's
yes, we're on Cryptopia right
crypto
now,
god.
and another exchange called Cymex.
Thanks, guys.
Last question: are you a shitcoin?
No.
I don't think so, but that's for these guys to decide. Yeah.
You're not sounding like a shitcoin.
And so what's the you don't have a lot of capital to really scale.
I can't believe I just asked that.
In call it the resource war, which is the core tool in the protocol wars. How do you have large reserves of tokens? Or do you have it structured to be able to do another sale at some point? How are you going to be able to capitalize this enough to the point, no matter how good it is, to get it off the ground?
No, that's totally fair. And so basically, that's one of the reasons we're here, right? So we're raising a second round of funding, a more traditional round of funding. We have 2 different opportunities for investors, both traditional equity-based and token-based. But we really can sustain our company just based on our treasury fund. We make about just under 8 million divvy per month. And we don't need to sell all of it to actually cover our current costs. What we're really trying to raise money for is to scale the company, like I said, build out our development team in Lithuania more quickly. We can do all these things, it's just slower.
So Treasury has what percentage of the coins?
It takes in 17% of the block rewards, but it does not.
On an ongoing basis, so your Treasury is...
But we use them, so it's not like we hold all of those coins all the time.
Yeah, a lot of it, like the way we ended up planning it was to be able to have these block rewards so we could guarantee that we'd be able to continue development without anything stopping us. So what we're really looking at is this next round of funding to be able to help us with awareness and marketing.
Yes, the winner will be announced.
Can I just ask about community building, or do we have enough time?
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, judges. Hey, give them a hand.
Excellent. Great job.
All right, judges, please score this last group, and then if we can have our nice ladies from World CryptoCon come on up and grab the forms. Yeah, you guys can talk, but I mean, you scored, so we're going to tally up the scores.
Bob wins.
If you need a moment to confirm to the judges, go confirm.
On stage in 13 minutes on the stage.
Apparently, we're on stage on the other stage in 13 minutes.
Yeah, I'm looking for lunch.
Good job. We'll be there. It's going to be super fun.
Great timing, guys.
Good stuff. So can we maybe have the people who presented?
Let's get our contestants up here, please. Come on up. Max, David, Justin, Oslin, William, and Nick.
I'll
give you
a board opportunity. David Peterson has presentations like this.
Oh, hey.
Memory.
An Animaniacs board.
We are Automaniacs.
Let's line you guys up in the order that we did. Max, David, Justin, Austin, William, and Nick. Started number one by the end there.
Bob's got this.
And I'm going to sign this thing. It's getting all smeared.
Yeah, I go with the black marker. Go with the dry quick enough.
There you go. There's that.
There you go.
All right. Just, I think just based on crowd pleasers, where's, we've got Max, David. Where's David? Come on, David.
David.
Over here.
You're going to show.
Number 4, Justin. Justin, come over here. Stand right here. This has no bearing on what the judges are going to do, primarily because the room is so stacked, but just based on what you guys liked, as I put my hand up behind the person, if you could just give a round of applause of what you think of it. So, Elementus. I'm just going to skip this one. David Peterson.
Of arbitrage. Everyone clapping. Look at that audience.
That's some mad support right there. Okay, Crypto Hub. All right, Jenny Paper. You like that project? He likes that one. Okay, blockcommerce.io. And you got to clap twice as much because we got 2 guys here from Divi Project. Let me poke through here. You all did a really great job, and it's going to be interesting to see what the judges come up with here. Do we? Is Adam in the room by any chance?
Yeah.
Because they didn't tell us what the third prize actually was. I know there's a prize.
You get a hug from Joel Cobb.
You get a hug from me. And yeah.
T-shirt.
That's a prize right there. The 3 top, you're going to get a slot on the Bad Crypto podcast. And if you could remind us, I know you guys are knee deep in conversation, but if you could remind us what the winner is going to get again. This mic, please.
Yes. Hello? Okay, yep, so DX, as I said before, it's a crypto and fiat currency exchange. And cryptocurrency exchange. We have a security token and utility token exchange, where utility token exchange lost in the next couple of weeks. So we're hoping that the winner can get on before we go live, but if not, if it's some of these projects don't have the ERC20 token or their own protocol yet, maybe in the next few months or month or something. So, but basically they'll get listed on the exchange.
We appreciate your generosity. All right, let's get these turned in so we can tabulate the winner. And while we're doing that, do we have anybody else in here that has an ICO or new crypto project that they're working on? Raise your hand if you do. Would you like 30 seconds to get on stage and tell everybody what you're doing? You want to come up? 30 seconds, come on. If you got a crypto project while we're waiting, come on, right around here. Let's find it. This is Travis Wright. Can you time in 30 seconds? Come on up.
Here we go. 3 of them now.
You didn't know you were going to get an opportunity to pitch here, did you? Nah, they're not in the competition. This is just everybody. Let's pay attention, see what kind of cool things are happening. We're going to give you 30 seconds. What's your name?
Manshu Agarwal. I'm with Ponder.
Ponder. Fantastic. Tell everybody. 30 seconds. Go.
Ponder is a gamified platform for referrals. We're trying to make the act of making a referral for jobs, for dating, for business, a fun game where people actually earn rewards. It tackles the problem of how to cut through the noise and get to the audience that you want. So we've already launched the dating app. We've got 80,000 users. We're making money. We've just got a deal with Times of India. We've got 5 billion to launch in India. And what we're about is we're using the blockchain as a way to create sub-communities. So I can create a sub-community for Indians in LA. And I would essentially have my own matchmaking business, and as well as for security and data purposes.
Excellent, your time is up, and you did well. Give him a hand. Weren't you on the show?
I was on the show.
You've been on
about
that
6 months.
Yeah. Just quick catch up. How are things going?
Things are going really well. We launched our ICO. We've got a month left of it. We're doing a Series A. Our user base is coming and growing. We're making not a huge amount of money, but we're making money now. So yeah, there's some good traction.
Very nice. You're in business. Excellent.
Yeah, good job. We love to catch up with companies who have been on the show to see where they are a year later. Good day, sir. How are you?
That's fine. How are you today?
Your name?
My name is Michael Holdman.
And Michael, who are you with?
I am the founder and CEO of a company called Prasaga.
Okay, you got 30 seconds, my friend. Wow us. Go.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. So my name is Michael Holdman. We are an Internet of Things and smart city ecosystem. We have agreements signed with the Government of China, Ministry of Science and Technology, with Qatar to oversee Smart Nation 2030. What we're doing is now integrating two types of distributed ledger into the actual foundation that we have. And we are in the process of creating a reserve currency that's based on the market determined value of real-time data going through a commodities type exchange.
Well done, sir. Give him a hand.
Nice, Scott.
All right, come on down. We'll have time for a few more, so if somebody else wants 30 seconds.
We're so close, Mr. Joel.
To pitch.
We're this close.
We're this close? Okay. Your name, sir? Scott, you are with?
Vices.
Vices.
Did he say ISIS? ISIS, ICO. There you go.
All right. You have 30 seconds.
Utility, wake people up.
My name is Scott Hager. I'm CEO of ISIS.
Utility?
Do y'all like crypto?
ISIS instead of ISIS?
Do you like cars?
Utility, wake people
That's
up.
what we are.
Yeah!
So we're developing a platform that's going to allow you to take your crypto and purchase automobiles, but we're also doing so much more. We're creating a worldwide shipping platform so you can buy cars all over the world, ship them all over the world. Also, you're going to be able to set up wish lists for cars that aren't available, so the dealers can contact you.
David's a boss, man. He's like loving this.
So this is the answer to the question: when Lambo? All right. We got one more.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
All right, one more.
What's your name? Arno? You speak into this microphone.
My name is Arno Hightower.
And you're with?
And he's very loud.
BIEX.com.
BEIX.com.
BIEX.com.
I before E, except letter C. BIEX.com.
Yeah,
my friend. Tell me about it.
BIEX.
I like that. We allow 1 to 500 Bitcoin leverage trading. We raised about $3 million in seed funding, and we spent about $20,000 a month. We have 3,000 members trading with our website. We only need 10,000 to become self-sustainable, and that's where we are right now. Thank you.
Very good.
And for 10 seconds, good luck with the project. Give it up. Yeah. Can I just say, this young man's handshake, I mean, that is a, you can shake his hand.
Very nice.
Oh, no, that's awesome. Vice got to mention.
My friend John Wentz, he's in my fraternity, Beta Theta Pi. He taught me how to give a handshake. And he said, Arno, when you go for the handshake, you reach out your hand, and then you wait until the person is in the middle of your hand, and then you squeeze as a sign of respect. Thank you, sir.
So his project is as good as his handshake. You got something?
There you go.
All right, thanks very much. We have winners.
We are winners. All right, Mr. Secretary.
Which one of you guys
Here we
think
go.
you won? We thought you won. Nobody?
Oh, now that is not confidence right there.
Wow.
That is not the confidence we were hoping to see.
Arb.
All right, so we're going to go from third place to second place.
Third place, sort of like you do at the beauty pageants, right?
Yes.
Arb.
The swimsuit competition.
That's true. We have the swimsuit competition next.
Not going to do it.
In the bag,
So,
mate.
hey, before we do, I just want to thank all of the contestants. And how about a round of applause for our
This
judges?
place will riot. We riot. If Arb doesn't win, we riot.
Applause for Ronnie Lois.
There. If we don't
My
win,
prediction. No way he didn't win.
that's right.
This is the Ronnie Moas shitcoin.
I want a shit coin.
Everybody else want a Ronnie
I want a
Moas
shit coin. Shit coin. Shit coin.
All right. So the third place and second runner-up, as they say, is Divvy! That's not true. Number 2, the second place and first runner-up in our magical competition goes to Elementus. Elementus.
Oh, I think Arb's got it.
Now, first place is a surprise.
It is a surprise.
It's a shocker. Nobody saw this coming.
Go for it. The winner is
Arb.
Let's grab the mic here, and you can take a moment to thank the Academy.
I'd like to thank your mom.
Yeah.
Sure.
But no, more importantly, thank all of you. Literally, I couldn't do this without you. Without you, I'm nothing. You know, I built the road. You guys are at the top.
Love you, David.
Very good. Numbers 1, 2, and 3. Please make sure to get with our producer of Bad Crypto, Aaron Sell, right here, Aaron. We'll make sure to get them listed so they get on Bad Crypto podcast.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Thanks for coming. We're going over to the main stage right now. We'll see you guys there in just a minute. All right, thanks, everyone.
Nice.
Yeah! Woo!
So there we have it. Took out first place. That was awesome, and that was sick. You know, that's what our achievement was. That's why we came here, to witness history, and arbitraging has done it.
You know, if you
and that's it, man. So that's awesome, man.
Woo-hoo! Yeah. Buddy?
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Isn't this awesome, guys? That is great.
Yeah, I mean, when was he not going to ever win?
I know. I knew we had it.
He had it in the bag.
Absolutely.
That's why we came here, to win. We had to come and just pick up the trophy.
We're in it to win it.
That's it.
Yep. I might take in your seat.
Thank you. When moon? Now. Now. So guys, I am going to get going off here, and we're going to go watch the Bad Crypto broadcast. Love you guys. Peace.